What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwant.
And today we're back to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater
WAAAGH.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. That is what Mr. Organa did. If you could design the next race/army for 40K, what kind of traits would this army have? So in other words, what is 40K missing? In my most humblest of opinions, I believe that 40K is missing like a dice control aspect where you could throw it against your enemy. In Magic the Gathering, if you play blue, you always have that instant card ready to like say, nope, I prevent you from casting that magic spell. In HeroClix, when we played, they had the what was it called?
Probability Control.
Probability control. So if you rolled and you're like, nope, probability control, you have to roll it again.
Yeah.
So that kind of element of like, oh, you teleported all your boys over here? Nope.
You just activated my trap card.
Basically, yeah, like things like that.
I feel like they have a little bit of that with like stratagems and stuff, but it's mostly for your own army.
Yeah, it's like buffs for your army.
Yeah. But I feel like I know what you're talking about. Like you want to stop the opponent from playing the way he wants to and kind of force him more into your hand.
Now, with that said, I hate when that stuff happens to me in other games. I like to do it to other people, but like we have a player who I feel would really take advantage of that. He's a Necron player. I feel like he would do that kind of thing just to like piss you off, I guess.
Just flicking your nutsack.
Yeah. How that would look, I think if there was like a Tzeentchian army that came out, like a new race of the Zangors, that would be really badass. Maybe make them pretty weak in terms of their melee and shooting, but they have that ability to like negate something. Even a mercenary faction. Like the mercenary faction I've been asking for forever. But yeah.
Yeah. I'll say it again, and I'll say it 20 more million times. I think that the one thing that not just tabletop 40K, but 40K in general is missing is that aquatic aspect. You've got, I forgot what it's called, but it's basically like X-Wing, where you could like fight armadas like in space. You could obviously fight smaller skirmishes and kill team, and then you got the big army battles and just regular 8th edition 40K. But there's no type of like underwater fighting or like naval battles for 40K that deal with water. There's not even a race that like is all about water, like Marine. Although they do have it in Age of Sigmar, the Ideneth Deepkin is what they're called. But I just want something more like that into the 40K universe.
Yeah.
Like I could see it's more gothic, it's more like futuristic, and I guess aquatic things tend not to be.
Right.
But yeah, I just need more water representation in 40K.
Good question. Next one. What do you got?
This one is by Bruno Witterman. Is it canon that the Emperor's right arm fell off? I see it a lot in art and fan art. So I think you're talking about the picture where he's on the golden throne and his arm has just like atrophied off. Like it's his skin and his muscles has just like disintegrated and his arm literally just like bloop.
Falls off.
I don't know if that's like legit or not, but like you're right. I've seen it in a lot of art. Maybe there's just like a way of representing how decayed and how much the Emperor has been sitting on the golden throne that it's just like atrophying his body.
Next question comes from Armin Safarians. Catan versus a Chaos God.
Chaos God, hands down.
Yeah.
The thing that a lot of people tend to forget is even though that Catan are seen as gods, they're weak against the warp stuff. That's why the gates, or the pylons, were erected on Cadia, because they stopped the warp, the Eye of Terror from getting bigger, so kind of contained it. And yeah, they're just weak against chaos.
Next question comes from Aaron Blackley. Are all Inquisitors human, or are there any Space Marine superhuman Inquisitors? All Inquisitors are humans, but they have buffs. So you can have an Inquisitor in Terminator armor.
Inquisitor Rex was like a human, but like he was so big, he was like on the same stature as Space Marines.
Yeah.
Fire. His question is, since you want us to ask more D&D questions, what format do you play in Magic? We play what? Modern?
I wouldn't even say that because sometimes people pull out some really old cards.
Yeah.
We just play.
Yeah.
We don't have a thing.
Our play group isn't so like power hungry where it's like I make this infinite combo that you can't do anything. It's pretty much just like, we're here to have fun.
Basically, yeah. Next question comes from Bruno Whitman. Is it canon that the... Oh, okay. We just said that. Timothy Armstrong. Is there a specific pleasure world that Space Marines or people of the Imperium choose the most to retire to? No, not by name.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
LeFou87 Wilford. What are your favorite D&D gods, and what outer planes would you want to go to in the afterlife?
So I don't... In the D&D campaign that I'm running, I'm not reading on the gods of the D&D world. I am reading on the different planes, though, because what I want to do... I'm the DM, and what I want to do is I want to send them... I want to send the party over to, like, I'm calling it the Ether, but really it's just like, it's going to be different worlds. And, like, the world of, like, blood or whatever, where, like, everything is just blood. It seems interesting to me. But, yeah, well, I don't really have a fixed one.
Yeah. I had to bust out the book, because I wasn't sure if these were considered planes or not. But I'd either want to go to Mount Celestia, which is, like, the 7 heavens, or the 9 hells, which is hell. Yeah. Those would be pretty cool, I think.
It's going to be fun. D&D's, I don't know, like, some days you sit down and, like, you have so many things that pop into your head, and you think, like, oh, it would be cool to send these guys here or there. And then some days you're just like, yeah, that's too much work. But, yeah.
Yeah, and some days it's like, okay, I got everything ready if they go this way, and then we decide to do the other thing.
Yes.
It's like, oh, great, there's 3 hours worth of planning down the drain.
Because that's what happened last week. Last week I had these guys... For the longest time, I had these guys fighting inside of a... Or not the longest time, but what they decided to do is once the campaign started is that they went into a dungeon without any weapons. I specifically told them, you don't have anything on you except the clothes on your back. So then they were like, let's jump into the dungeon. And then
we didn't know it was a dungeon.
It was in a graveyard. Like, the thing fell down.
We were in, like, a crypt, and the crypt opened up, and there was, like, a big hole in there.
Yeah.
And a cat jumped in there, and we're like, oh, we gotta go after the cat.
That cat's name was Lucifer. You're gonna follow the devil into a crypt inside of a... Yeah. But they kept getting knocked out because, of course, it was just devastating down there. So then what I thought was the second session, I'm going to give them, like, weapons and armor. And you guys got that, and it was fun. But I still felt like they kept getting knocked out a lot. You were out for, like, half the game.
Yeah, I kept dying.
And then I was like, well, I'm going to give them the choice of either leaving the dungeon or continue to fight. If they continue to fight, I have everything planned. I have a feeling they're going to run out. But if they run out, I have another plan for them to investigate this other thing, which is based off of the Dark Heresy 40K role-playing game. And then they go up there. They don't decide to fight the main boss. They decide to leave.
He's literally putting 3 level 1s against the son of a god.
You guys were level 2 by then.
Like, we were level 2. We just had turned level 2.
And yeah, you guys are fighting a demigod, and then you guys decided to run away, and then in the surface world, I'm like giving you guys a bunch of like tasty morsels of hints as to how badass the investigating would work, because you guys would basically be like Inquisitors going around town,
yeah.
Which is what I'm basing it off of. And now these guys decide, yeah, we don't want to do anything that you're telling us. We want to go out into the wilderness and fight the Native Americans. They're basically Native Americans, and that's what you guys did.
Yep. D&D. It never goes the way you have planned.
That's the best part of D&D, I guess. Next question.
Neil Coffey. What are your characters in D&D? I play a storm sorcerer half-orc that uses disguise to pass off as a human. So I actually made a playlist where I talk about the characters that I've created. I think it's called D&D playlist. But yeah, I got a Tiefling Ranger, a High Elf Warlock, and then in his campaign that he was just describing, I am a Tabaxi monk.
Yeah. It's fun because what I do is I go to the gym and I start like listening to
Like Critical Role or no?
No, WebMD. WebMD is freaking amazing. And they just gave me a bunch of ideas for his character. So it's gonna be fun today when we play.
I'm scared.
I play a Kenku rogue, who's a criminal and likes to pickpocket. He's like a compulsive pickpocket. And then I play a dwarf druid, who's just an asshole, I guess.
Or at least everybody says he is.
Yeah, which I'm really not. Like, well, I mean, I punch people, but that's about it.
I was tied up at one point, and he's like, "Oh, this is a magical helmet from the Great War. I think elves wear it." So he puts it on me, and he freaking hits me with an axe. That's an a-hole move.
Is it though? Because it's an axe. I mean, because it's a helmet though. It's a magical helmet. It turned out that it wasn't.
Maybe it protects against magic attacks, not like bludgeoning attacks.
Oh, you just gave me an idea.
I thought I told you this like 3 weeks ago.
No, I'm gonna do that. I haven't tried that. Next question. I have one from Defu06. Would you guys name your kid after a Primarch or any Warhammer 40K character?
Hello, Gilliman. I don't think so, because like their names are all kind of like not the norm. No.
Right, yeah. I don't think I would either.
Come here, little Sanguinius.
Yeah. I'm trying to think right now, like, what would be an okay name for someone to have?
Magoric Thraka.
Yeah, Magoric Thraka. I don't know. Next question comes from Anon Archists. Are House Vansar Techno Heretics for using a broken STC, or just regular heretics for not reporting the STC to the Imperium? They are Techno Heretics. Next question.
Defool06. You guys are basically YouTube celebrities. Does anyone recognize you when you're in a grocery store or eating out in a restaurant and they approach you to say hi or get your autograph or something?
We're not celebrities by any stretch of the imagination. We are just two guys with a YouTube channel. But yes, it has happened.
Yeah, here and there it happens. It happened once when I was trick-or-treating.
Oh, tell the story of when you were at Buffalo Wild Wings and that little boy came up to you.
Oh yeah. So I was waiting at Buffalo Wild Wings for my wings because they're supposed to be ready at like 12 o'clock. And it wasn't ready at 12 o'clock, so I had to wait for like 20 minutes.
Because it's Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings has horrible service.
Wings are fire though. Sometimes. Not the last time.
That place is closed down. They need a competitor. Wingstop is not a good competitor.
What's that other one? Buffalo Rings and Wings or something like that? The one by the graham cracker?
Oh, yeah.
I've never been there.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways.
But anyway, I was there waiting, and like this kid comes up, and he's like, what did he say? He like, I don't want to ruin it, because like I know like where you're getting to, but I don't remember exactly how I got to that. I texted these guys, but I don't want to go back to the text.
Basically what he said was like he wanted to know if this was truly the Sound Alchemist, and of course it was, and then his second question was, are you guys gay?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, but I didn't want to just like jump to it, but yeah.
And then it was just like,
Are we?
Are we not?
Am I happy?
A little bit, I guess.
Only on Tuesdays. Not when I'm at a B-dubs.
Next question comes from PB Unit. What happens to the warp portal that was on the wall? It's still there. It's right there.
Pineapple. I have two. Okay. Which edition of D&D do you play, and what do you think of the Space Wolf Hellfrost tech? I wish it would be used more.
That's actually a good point, though. So if you want to ask us a D&D question, you have to follow it up with a 40K question. All right, go ahead with the.
I love Hellfrost weapons. I think that was the main reason why I decided to try out Space Wolves. I bought the Codex and I bought a Dreadnought, and then I realized that he also wanted to play Space Wolves, and we had another friend that also was playing Space Wolves. I'm like, 3 Space Wolf players, that's too much. So I ended up selling everything. But I really love the 2 things that I love about Space Wolves is Hellfrost weapons and how awesome their Dreadnoughts are with like the shield and the axe and Bjorn and all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I really wish they could incorporate more Hellfrost into their weapons in general.
And then
we play 5th edition D&D.
Yeah, for a Space Wolf player, I really don't know much about Space Wolves. I have models and everything, but I don't really play them.
And our other friend who plays Space Wolves hasn't played 40K in a long time.
Yeah. Same thing with D&D. He started a D&D campaign. He never finished it. Clamor, the Kenku Rogue will never be played.
And it's funny because like out of all the characters that I've made, the character that I made for that session, like I can't use her.
Oh yeah, I put a lot of backstory into my guy too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyways, those are the questions for today. Thank you for sending our way. If you guys want to continue to ask D&D questions, we ask that you do 40K questions as well, just until we figure out how we can organize this. And thanks for everything.
As always, don't forget to hit that like button, comment down below your questions, and hit that subscribe.
Check out WebMD. They're amazing.
They are.
No homo.
Or maybe a little bit. Not at B-dubs, though.
This is Gershwan.
The Sound Alchemist.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.